Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Factional Fight Plays Wurm Online. Thank you for joining us. My name is Brian, this is my brother Adam over here, who always joins me, and we are really excited to show you guys today. Basically, we spent the week building a road to our place, but we didn't quite finish it yet, so it's not connected to anything, but we're excited to show you what we have anyway. So basically, in order to get to our place, we're kind of in a remote area. Oh, look, somebody's riding or walking there. Hello.
Hello, Drew the werewolf.
So in order to get to our place, you have to kind of climb a mountain. You're kind of in a remote area, and you can miss it very easily. But with this road, hopefully, it will help out I don't know, people not, missing it. We've had a lot of people just kind of like not realize that we're in this corner here. So because it's over a mountain, we kind of get this nice view coming down here. What do you think of it?
I love this view, and I can't wait till this whole area is built up. Coming down this way, you'll be able to see. I mean, this whole level that we are seeing in front of us is pretty much empty.
Yeah, we're gonna have walls actually coming up to this area, so it's gonna look kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how it's going to be after it's done. But, I mean, even though we did this cool, with every good thing always seems to come a bad thing. And I know in the last episode we were farming and, starting a farm because we got an order placed by, we learned that their village name was called the Hillside Horde Corp. And there's a bunch of people that we met. And they decided to order about 1,000 items, like miscellaneous things like cotton and vegetables and that sort of thing. And we couldn't find a time to get together to do the trade. So they said that because they were always playing during our nights. So we said before we log off, we're going to leave all of the stuff in our perimeter and in a food storage bin. They can come pick it up, and we can transfer the money another time. But the next day we woke up and we saw that the food storage bin was empty, which it should be, because they should have picked it up. But then when we actually talked to them, they swear to us that they did not get the stuff.
Yeah, they told us that when they got there, the food storage bin was already empty. Which, I mean,
I don't know, what do you think of that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to think, because there is the off chance that somebody was coming by and picked it all up, but
I mean, we're in a remote location, we're kind of far away from everything. Somebody just ran by, just picked up 1,000 items and left.
I mean, unless somebody was
within an hour or two
equipped to carry 1,000 items, like you would have to have a whole bunch of containers. Possibly in your boat or something, I don't know. But
yeah.
You would have to have been going around checking to see whether every container you're going by is in perimeters and just... I mean...
I don't know, it's that, or they took the items and now they're telling us that they didn't.
That's the way of Wurm. I mean, I think at this point we sort of have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Whether or not they took it... I mean, they're claiming that they're not, and I don't know. I don't want to ruin this new relationship that we have, because it could potentially lead to a good trading situation that we are developing here. But it's just not off to a good start. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know. What would you guys believe? Let us know in the comment section. Anyway, let's go check out this new fountain that.
Oh yeah,
they just put into the game recently.
Like today.
Yeah. Well, recently, I mean, could have been a few days ago.
Yeah, well, that's true.
But yeah, this is the ornate fountain. Look how cool it is. It's got water gushing out of it. Where's the water going? It's like just empty in there. It's all like falling through the.
I love.
They gotta patch up the cracks in the bottom of this fountain. but the animation is cool. The unicorn is great.
Yeah, I haven't seen the
Let's take a
unicorn.
drink.
This is the ornate fountain. Does that mean that the other fountain doesn't have a unicorn?
Yeah, I don't think it has a unicorn. I remember passing by one.
Okay,
just
because that
earlier.
makes sense. Because I don't remember seeing the unicorn on the other one. So that's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
well, now that we saw that, and we're talking about all of our stuff being stolen.
Oh, the
what do we-
mountain's pretty down. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about the mountain in a second. But
Yeah, yeah.
what are we actually talking about in this episode?
Oh yeah, no. Before we do that, seriously, what are you wearing?
Oh yeah, aren't we cooking in this episode? Well, I thought I would, get all dressed up for the occasion. We are cooking. I have never really cooked before. You are the cooking expert, so you're going to teach me how to cook today, because I've never cooked before, and I thought maybe
But
this
you
would
need
help.
all this stuff. Isn't this what cooking is?
Yeah, isn't this what cooking is? Dressing up. So let's talk about the village first before we get into the cooking. Village update. What has changed in the last week since we announced, since we did our last village update segment? I mean, we talked about a little bit about the mountain. So the mountain does look lower. It actually this week it actually does look lower, and
I
thanks
don't know.
to everyone.
There's still so much left to do.
Thanks to everyone that has come and helped out for even as little while as they could. The second thing is, of course, this road. You can see the road up there now, kind of coming down all the way down. So that's being built up. What else? The village area, as you can definitely tell that they've worked kind of hard on it.
Yeah, it looks like Pekka finished his house.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's gonna put railings around that top roof. I don't know. I like it the way it is, even the way it is now. So
Yeah, looks kind of nice.
yeah.
And Nightshade's house is got lots of farm tiles in it. So
It's some
it
paint.
still has farm tiles in it.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think that's pretty much it. We haven't really done much. The road took a lot of our time. The mountain obviously took a lot of time. So we haven't touched anything down at the port area this last week. There's just only so much we could really do every week. So
Yep.
let's talk about cooking. We've started to run out of food. So I know you're the cook. You've created lots of food, but you haven't had time really to be on your cooking character or just being around to cook
Yeah.
all these meals for us.
Yeah.
Well, look who it is. It's Chonk Lord on his mule. Yay.
Hello.
Where?
How are you?
Oh, there
It's
it
not a
is.
mule.
How are
It's just a tiny horse.
Yeah.
It's the youngest horse that you can ride. That's why
Yeah.
it looks so funny.
I think
So-
he got a foal and
Hello,
it grew
how
up,
are
and
you?
now he can finally ride it.
Yeah. Hello. So
I'm
we're
gonna
running
say
out of food.
congrats
We
on
need.
riding a horse. That's a big deal in this game.
Yeah. He must have worked really hard on that. Oh, here's the other fountain. See, the other fountain doesn't look that
Oh,
bad,
okay, yeah,
right?
that's
But it's like the regular fountain should look a little bit less, pleasing than the ornate fountain. That's why it has the word ornate in it. Right? So let's go to our cooking area because we're running out of food, and I figured since you don't really have the time all to make the food, maybe I should learn how. I've never really learned how. I don't know the ins and outs. You just feed me. That's basically how it works. There's Kiwi building his boat.
First boat.
The village is going. All right, so let's go into our inn, which looks kind of empty at the moment.
Yep. Can't wait for the new furnishings to be added to the game.
Me too. All right, so here we are. Let's go into our kitchen. You designed this kitchen based on all of the tricks that you know about. That's why we've got ovens. Oh, we also I had to put that oven in there because you insisted on putting just forges in here, and I said, like, we're cooking. Why would you only want forges? That doesn't make any sense. It's not a blacksmithing area. So I put some ovens in here instead, to your disapproving eyes, looking at me the entire time like, what are you doing? Like, so that's why we have some ovens in here. Maybe you can explain why you have it looking a little bit like this. Like, what do we have here?
Well, I think that we got pretty much everything that we would need for cooking. You started with the 2 ovens. I would suggest, well, I mean, I would suggest no ovens really, but if you gotta have an oven just for the looks of it, 1 oven is enough. We got a couple cauldrons on the ground. We're going to be putting those into the forge or the oven.
These cauldrons.
Actually,
here.
can a cauldron even fit into an oven? I don't even know. Food storage bin for all of the food stuffs. And right behind you is a bulk storage bin because you're going to need to store your fuel for the forges and the ovens.
Right. So, right off the bat, let's just get into it. Why should I cook? Let's say we were brand new to the game and we basically knew nothing about the game. Why is there cooking? Like, what is the point of cooking?
Well, the basis is something that we talked about already, and that's the food bar. If you look at right below your stamina bar, there's the food bar, and that will progressively go down as you get more hungry. And I mean, if that runs out, you will fast and lose a fat layer. And you got like 9 fat layers or something like that. And if you lose them all, then you will lose all your stamina and you won't be able to do anything. So really, you want to keep that food bar up, and you want to keep those fat layers on. So that's the primary reason. In addition, there's also something called nutrition, which isn't any of these bars, but if you get that tooltip, you can see the nutrition level.
Yep.
You want to keep that one high too.
The higher the better, right?
Yeah, the higher the better. You usually, I think you start off the game at about 50, and then it will start going down and down, especially since your skill is very low in cooking and the food that you'll be eating is very low in quality, possibly even raw meat, and that will cause your nutrition to go down really low. I think the lowest is 10%. It'll stop at.
Something like that. Like each fat layer that you lose a lot of nutrition as well. So if you fast, it can go. So the basic one, you cook food to survive, to eat. Any other weird things that we can know about cooking, on why people cook?
Well, there's a couple other things. I mean, cooking will help you increase skills, like obviously your cooking skills. There's another one that you would want to cook for, and that's for taming.
Taming, what's taming?
Taming is essentially causing animals or any of the mobs to become submissive to your will, and they'll follow you around.
Like they become your pet?
They become sort of like your pet, yeah, and you can ride some of them, and you need pretty good taming skill to get good results. And to skill that up, you need a lot of food. Different animals will eat different foods, but like good quality food is always a good thing for taming.
All right, well, maybe one day we'll get into taming. But so that's it. You cook to obviously gain skill, but you cook to so that you can get food to eat, and you cook so that you could have food to tame animals with.
Yeah.
So is that it?
Well, there's other related skills that you can use cooking to increase, and some people say cooking is the fastest. I would tend to agree. To increase things like soul depth, if you're planning on being a priest, or mind logic, which will ultimately allow you to queue more actions. So
Yeah, you're getting into like advanced territory.
I think we've gotten to that point where we can
soul
start
depth and mind logic and
yeah, these are characteristics, and
things.
characteristics in this game tend to rise very slowly, like, so slowly. And if you want to get them up there, you need, you need to do some sort of other skill. And if you do cooking, it's a good way to increase soul depth and mind logic.
All right, so all you people out there that want to raise soul depth and or mind logic, cook some meals for somebody, hand them out at a party. So then we come to the question of why. So I can sit here and I can cook a meal. Can I fail at cooking the meal? Even at like, can I just go and cook a meal right now?
You can go and cook a meal
Does it
right now.
fail?
Yeah.
Does it become like pig food or like something crappy if I fail, or is it always successful?
Well, I mean,
How
if
does
you're
cooking work?
starting out,
What do you think?
I'm pretty sure that it's successful. Like, it'll always be successful.
So I'll get
the
like what, a lower quality
Yeah,
meal?
low quality. It'll come out at the same level of your skill I think your hot food cooking skill.
So if I'm always going to be successful at cooking a meal, why do I want to raise cooking?
Because the quality of the meal makes a big difference. Like, if you eat a really low quality meal, not only will it take so much of it in order to raise that food bar up, like you'll be eating it and it's like raising up by like 1%. If you raise the quality of the meal, that will feed you better. Like, it'll take less of a meal in order to feed you. So that's a good thing. But of course, as well, nutrition is a big thing, and that will also increase with increased quality of food. So we've already talked about it. Like, if you put food in the fire and heat it up, that'll increase the nutrition that you get from it. But also, higher quality meals can give you quite high nutrition.
So you're saying that the higher quality the meal is, the more my nutrition will go up if I eat it.
You got it.
All right, that doesn't sound too hard. Other than that, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I see a bunch of stuff. I assume I'm going to light an oven, so I'm just going to get right to it. You said you brought over some of the stuff here.
Brought some stuff. Yeah.
My inventory.
Now, when you start out the game, the first thing that you probably want to be doing, like, if the goal is to get food, which it should be, that should be one of your main goals.
Yep. I'm lighting
You
this
should
oven.
be, yeah, go for it. You should be botanizing and foraging every grass tile you see. I know it's time consuming, but you're looking for certain things like any of the herbs.
The wood scraps.
Like garlic is a good one. Oregano and parsley, these sorts of things. And you want to collect a bunch of them. A lot of them don't weigh very much, so you can put them into a bag and carry them around, and they won't weigh you down. Of course, you're looking also for vegetables like onions and potatoes and corn, because you can plant those and farm them when you get to that point. Then when you find a place to settle, one of the first things you should build is a food storage bin. Bulk storage bin, food storage bin. That should be one of your first main things, I guess, after an enclosure.
Right, so the food storage bin can hold all the items, and none of the items in there are going to decay.
Yeah.
The only downside, and it's a small downside, is that it's like 5% of your items will disappear every month or something like that. Or
every month, like that's,
I don't know.
5% is nothing, and it's an exponential decay, so it's never going to run out ever. Right, 5% of one is still fun. Or
All
You
right.
lose 5%. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You won't lose.
He's throwing around
like-
these fancy schmancy math words. Anyway, so what do I do? I'm gonna take. Is it any vegetable at all?
Let's start with something that you might start off with. Let's see what's in here. Why
Rosemary?
don't you take an rosemary is
blueberry?
probably
What
not
is it?
something that you want to take.
A lovage?
The reason, yeah, lovage as well. This is, you'll get used to what each of these items do. Now, while
So
they
many
will
of
go into a
them.
meal and make food, sorry?
There's so many of them.
I know there's so many of them. You
Should I
gotta
use
sort
a
of look it up.
belladonna?
One thing that you're looking for is, will it make a healing cover? Because if
Will it
it'll make a healing cover, that's what you should use it for. Healing cover materials, like at least good ones, like lovage is actually a level 4, which is high.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
rosemary, I think, is a 3, so that's actually pretty good too. You want to use ones that are either low quality healing covers or ones that you can't use for healing covers at all. Like, here's an example. Yeah, belladonna actually is one of them. Yeah, grab a belladonna.
Does a belladonna even cook?
Does it even cook? Pretty sure it does. It's in the food storage bin. Kind of be silly if it didn't.
You are probably right.
You looking up on the wiki?
I am trying.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it does. So you can probably find out faster if you just throw it into a...
It is a botanized
Okay.
herb used in cooking stews, soups, and casseroles. All right, so belladonna, I'm taking one.
Yeah.
So
I
at
don't
the
know if we-
start, I'm cooking. Look, I'm brand new to this.
Yeah.
Should I be cooking a meal? Because I read up on the wiki, everyone's telling me meals are the best. All right, we've been eating meals forever.
Yeah.
Can I make a meal?
Well,
Or should I make a meal?
okay, I'll answer the first one first. Yes, you can make a meal. No, you shouldn't. Because,
Okay.
well, I mean, it's not that there's no reason why you should not, except for the fact that meals will not raise your skill at this level.
I see. So if I'm wanting to actually get better at cooking, what do I need to make?
You need to make stews are good. Those are actually the best.
So how do I make a stew?
Soups as well are pretty good for low level. They're not as nutritious as stews. So stews.
I can take a belladonna, and I can take what else?
Let me think. Stew. I think if you take a garlic.
Oh, garlic.
This is something that even after all this time, I am still a little bit iffy on because it's kind of complicated and there's no place that really lists this stuff.
Okay.
The ingredients. Now, it's not only the ingredients that makes a difference, but it's also the container.
Oh, the container?
Yeah, there are 4 containers, and any 2 pieces, you can take 2 pieces and put them together in a specific container, it'll make one thing, and you put the same 2 things in another container, it makes a completely different thing. So, yeah, it's hard to keep track
Wow.
of what's what.
So how do I know what I'm making?
Actually, you know what? Here's one thing to start. Why don't you take 2 berries? This is
2
something that you can
berries.
do because meat sometimes is hard to find.
So
But
we
if
have a
you're
blueberry in here.
Sure, blueberry, strawberry, there's lingonberries.
Got a strawberry in here.
Okay, this will be one of the first things that you should make, and it'll level you up pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, so take 2 berries, they have to be different kinds, and you put them into a pottery bowl, which you
Pottery
should
bowl.
start the game out with.
Pottery bowl.
Yeah.
All right. So we wait for it to get hot, I guess, and then it turns into it.
Yeah.
So how do I know what I'm making?
Now, if you examine the container that the ingredients is in, let's see, yep, examine the container.
It says that the difficulty of this stew is 4.
Yeah. Now, stew is usually 4. Now, there are things that can adjust the difficulty, but oven will always be the easiest to cook in, and that'll have the lowest difficulty. And stew is the lowest, so long as it's just 2 ingredients that are different from one another.
So I would have gained skill when this is made.
Yeah, you will gain
guess.
skill when this is made. Now, I mean, there's a chance that you won't in the same way as every other skill in this game, but if the difficulty is comparable to your skill, I think within 10. So I think your skill is... I don't know what your skill is, actually. But anyway...
I got a bit of skill by accident at some point over the last year, but...
Yeah. But I just
really
told you
know
what to do. I
how.
can't remember. I told you to throw this stuff in there and just do that. But anyway...
I don't even think I threw anything in anywhere. I just...
Let's say you start your skill off at
Right.
1.
Yeah.
4 is a good skill to be doing. Now, if you do the same ingredients in the pottery bowl... Oh, there, it became a stew.
Oh.
And you put it into a campfire. Well, campfires will increase the difficulty by 5. So that will
So
make
you're
the
saying
difficulty of this stew by to 9.
the type of container affects this difficulty level that says it said the difficulty level stew is 4. If I put the exact same thing into a campfire, it'll change the difficulty of it.
Yeah, it changes the difficulty.
I guess that makes sense. It's
Kind of
harder to
interest-
cook in a campfire.
Have you ever tried cooking in a campfire?
Well, it's been a year, but
No. I mean, like in real life.
oh well.
It's a little bit
It's
harder.
been
to
a
cook
year,
in
but
another.
yeah, it is harder. And I guess in a forge,
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that you're gonna cook in a forge.
Yeah, I've never cooked in a forge before. Okay, now
So-
that it's a stew, in order to actually access it, you'll have to take it out of the forge.
So can't I just drink it?
Now, if you scroll over it, the tooltip will tell you it is boiling, and I don't know if you ever tasted boiling stew before.
All right, here's something that
Not pretty.
we haven't actually mentioned before in any of our episodes because I don't think we've ever been to a forge or an oven yet. Surprisingly, since we're over double digits of our show, but something that we haven't actually mentioned are these little dots. I'm sure you guys can see it if you go. I don't know. You might be having to watch in HD, but there's these tiny little dots that are next to every single item that you'll notice appear when they're inside of a forge or anything hot. Campfire, forge, or an oven, and they keep changing colors. And I remember watching somebody else like having issues with these colors. Like, what does that mean? Why are these colors? They're just there. Are they magical? So what do they mean? Maybe you can quickly explain what they mean, since you're the forge guy. You're the blacksmith.
Apparently, these weren't always in the game. Like, they were added maybe a year ago, and they essentially tell you how hot something is. So there's like levels of hotness.
So the colors correspond to the level of hotness an item is.
And I think
And-
boiling has a different system. Like, you can see on the stew, it's like yellowish or something.
It's like gray to me.
Gray, maybe? Gray? Anyway, maybe it's just because it's yellow next to a yellow icon. And it just means that it's boiling. I don't know why.
So there's
but
different
all the-
colors. What are the different levels of hotness? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I
it's
think
like,
it's like it's a little warm, then it's
Warm,
hot, then it's
hot.
searing hot,
searing hot.
and then it's glowing hot. And
Glowing
glowing hot is
hot.
the highest. Now, there's even within the glowing, there's like levels of glowing hot that you just can't see it. But it really shows when you're trying to cool down an item, like the length
And
of time
it's
it
like
takes to
glowing
cool.
hot forever.
Yeah.
Ah, that's
Like if it just becomes glowing hot, like it's just heated up to just above glowing hot, and then you take it out, it'll come back to searing very quickly. But if it's glowing hot for a long time,
it's glowing hot forever. I've had it in my inventory forever, and it just never cools down. Like whenever
it
you're
could be hours. It could
whenever
be
you're
hours.
imping one of my tools or something, you have it in there forever, and then I take it and it's glowing hot for hours.
But you
But
log out, and the next day it's still glowing hot. Yeah.
you figured out a workaround for that little tip and trick that you're going to mention in the tips and tricks episode, or the tips and tricks section of this episode.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, we'll get to that. So next,
Mhm.
we just made a stew.
Yeah.
I assume that that's how it works for any item. So far, if we recap this, because this is getting kind of confusing, even though all we did was make a stew. the container that you put the items in. So you take like fruits or berries, and you take your vegetables, whatever you combine, you put it in a container. The container that you put it in can affect what you make.
And when you say container, you're talking about
like the pottery bowl or the frying pan or like cauldrons or whatever you're going to put it in. That affects what you actually make. You could pick the same ingredient, put it in a pottery bowl, and it'll make something different than if you put it in like something else.
That's right.
So that's already confusing enough, but then you're saying that depending on whether you put it in a campfire, an oven, or forge, that changes the difficulty level of the item. And the only way to tell what the difficulty level of the item and what exactly you're going to make, you'd have to right-click the container that the items are in and examine it.
Or you can... What I do is I bind a key bind for examine.
That's what you do. Yes.
Well, any time that you're going to do an action over and over again, you may as well just key bind it.
That's true. That's true. I mean, there's only there's not that many. There's a finite amount of buttons that you can click.
There's way more key binds that you'll want than buttons on your keyboard. That's
Although I know that you can do like Alt and Control and stuff, but I'm never going to remember that stuff.
I have enough to remember it myself.
Yeah. So next, sometimes like now and then I'll just be playing, but like, what the heck does the L key do? I don't remember.
I forgot.
So
there's one more thing that, like, you see the stew in there, it's boiling, right? Like, if you want to go eat it, you actually have to take it out of the forge.
I can't eat it at boiling.
For it to cool. Sorry?
It's too hot.
Yeah, it's too hot. But the fact that it's in the forge right now, it's just getting hotter and hotter and hotter and rising in that level of boiling, so it's just going to take that much longer. So I would keep an eye on it, wait for it to just cook, and then take it out right away, or else you'll be waiting forever.
Well, here's something that you never talked about. Why would I ever feel the need to cook in a forge? So how does leveling work in this game of cooking? Like, what am I trying to do? How do I optimize my leveling path type thing?
Okay, so you want to keep the thing that you're cooking, the difficulty to be just slightly above your skill, like within 10. Once it starts getting below your skill, like cooking stews forever is not going to work, because your skill is going to go up to like 20, 30, 40, and cooking level 4 item stuff is just not going to skill you up. So you want to increase that difficulty. The forge will increase the difficulty, I think, by 10.
It's either 10 or 15 or something like that.
Campfire will increase it by 5. So these are ways of increasing the difficulty as you skill up.
I'm pretty sure it's somewhere on the wiki. Just look up cooking or something on the wiki.
Yeah.
You can go around and I'm sure you'll find out.
There's other things that you can do to increase that.
Yeah.
I've never done this before, but I've heard that there's people who will put a small nail, into their frying pans. And
this is our tips and tricks section.
Oh, am I getting ahead of ourselves?
Yes. Why do you put a small nail or whatever? I don't know. You'll have to find out in our tips and tricks section of this episode.
Right.
Next, what we're going to talk about. So you said, I was thinking that you're going to say that you can actually put herbs and sort of like spices and stuff in, because there's all this junk that's in this food storage bin, right? And I don't see you use any of this junk. Like oregano and basil, sassafras.
Yeah. I mean, at the beginning when you're first starting out, that stuff is good.
So what does that do? You're saying that raises the difficulty, like you put one of those in along with the ingredients?
Yeah. So
they're not a main ingredient. They're just spices that you put in.
They can be a main ingredient. I mean, a meat plus an oregano will make something, depending on what container you put it in.
But you can also add it to like a meal or something and make it.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. So like if you put a vegetable with a meat, and then put oregano in there, then you have 3 different items or 3 different ingredients, and that will increase the difficulty, sure.
Alright, so I'm going to try to make a meal here. So I'm going to take, what is a meal, first off? It's
So
a
a
cooked
meal-
meat, I know,
Yeah.
And-
Actually,
and like a vegetable of some kind.
I would recommend, if you're starting skilling up,
Yeah.
don't use the full cooked meat. Butcher it. Butchering it will give you 3 fillets. So you...
But they're smaller. Wouldn't,
You're right.
What's stopping me from just creating like the ultimate giant 10-pound meal or whatever?
Nothing, actually. You can take 10 cooked meats and
Why
put them
wouldn't
into
I
a
do
pottery
that?
bowl. It fits.
So why wouldn't I do that?
Because the skilling process goes by number of actions. So if you do that and it turns it all into one meal, that's one action. But if you take those 10 cooked meats, fillet them all, you'll get 3 times as many pieces. And you put them all individually into pottery bowls. So
Is that why you always fillet? I don't even have a butchering knife. So I would recommend, since I'm not a cook or a butcher of any kind, I don't carry around a butchering knife as far as I know.
I can lend you one
I'll just use. Don't do this if you're
if you're really serious about.
if you're really
butchering it.
serious. I'm just going to use a carving knife.
It works.
It does work if I
You're
can
gonna
find
buy
it. There it is.
Inch. And you start off with
Fillet.
a carving knife, so you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about that.
but if you're really serious about cooking, get yourself a nice butchering knife. Definitely.
A butchering knife will help you with your butchering skill, whereas a carving knife is not as
So
good in
you actually have to
quality
go
and
out
sense.
and, like, in order to get this meat, like everyone knows, you go out, you kill animals or mobs, whatever, and you chop them up with a butchering knife. The reason why you use a butchering knife, they actually give you a lot more meat per like animal that you kill. Right? If I can use a carving knife to butcher up an animal, but I'm only gonna get like 1 meat maybe at my skill level. But if I
And
use the same
chances
thing,
of getting that is not good either.
yeah, that's true. Butchering knives raise the chance automatically. That's one thing I noticed. So I filleted these cooked meat. It did give me 3. They are now, instead of having 1 cooked meat, I have before I had 1 cooked meat that was 0.9. Now I have 3 I'm not good at talking today. Maybe it has something to do with this. I have 3 filleted cooked meat now, all at 0.3. And one thing I noticed, because I know there's one point in the last year, you made like a bazillion cooked fillets of cooked meat, and you just like kept them around, and they were attracting animals, and it was getting all smelly and stuff. So I tried to put them back in the food storage bin, but it won't go. It just keeps saying that the fillet would get destroyed. So that kind of sucks. So yeah,
Once
so if you're
fillet, you're committed.
and raw meat doesn't seem to go in the food storage, so it has to be cooked meat in order to store it. And the thing about raw stuff that doesn't get put, especially food that doesn't get put in the food storage bin, it decays like really fast.
Yeah, and actually, in a recent update, they increased the rate of decay on butchered items.
Alright, so how do I make the lowest of the low meal?
There's, well, the lowest of the low meal is just, I think onion is the one that will give you the lowest of the low.
Onion, huh?
It needs to
And
be
we were
onion.
saying onion's like really high to farm.
Yeah, yeah, we talked about that. High to farm, but it's the first one that you'll start with. I think the difficulty will be 24. As long as you're doing it in an oven, and as long as you're doing it in a frying pan. So go make yourself a frying pan. They
So I've
are a
got the
pain because they'll take up quite a bit of ore, but they're worth it.
Meal 22, so that's the lowest, I guess. 22 difficulty.
Oh, it's 22?
Yep.
That's different than I remember.
And it's going to make a meal. Yeah, so I just have to wait for these. We can go through the different heat processes.
Oh,
First,
you're going to need
it is
to
very
put
warm.
wood scraps in there.
You want to do that?
Yeah. You didn't?
I thought I did. I'm pretty sure I did.
You mustn't
You know what it is? It's that this
Oh,
oven
it's
is
the
low
oven.
quality. probably more than you're used to.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned this either. But
so let's mention it
of your oven
as
will
I
cause
go through it.
the burning process to last longer.
So if you increase the quality of ovens and forges, it will make the oven and forges last longer while it's burning.
And also heat up faster.
Yeah. Well, so far we went from very warm to hot. And as it's changing, you can see the little dots changing next to it. So I think that's really the only way to know or to learn is to just stare at them for days and hope that you memorize. Oh!
Yep, there it goes.
And it went straight to glowing hot.
Yeah,
that's
gotta
new.
take it out.
I gotta take it out? Take it out. I didn't take it out. There we go. Well, it went down to searing
it'll
hot.
probably be searing for the next hour.
Alright, well, anyway. I made a meal. So that's
Yay.
good. Yeah. So, at this point, we've explained sort of how it works. You explained that you always want to create a difficulty level, a kind of food of a difficulty level close to your level. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Up within 10 levels above you. So you want to stay above your level. So if your skill was 20, you'd want to create a meal or a food item that had a difficulty level of anywhere between 20 and 30.
That's right.
Does that
So
make
start
sense?
these meals when you're at 12, and you'll be fine.
Okay, well, what's... At this point, I think we've gotten through the basics. I'm sure we're missing a bunch of stuff.
Probably missing a lot.
But let's just get right into it. I want to know. What are all the tips and tricks for cooking? And exactly... you were about to say something about, like, small nails or... I was actually told this one today. I didn't realize this from a friend. I was told this trick, so maybe you can say it. What is this trick?
The iron coin trick, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Put an iron coin into the container, and it will increase the difficulty of the meal. In addition, it'll also make it so that when you take the meal out, the container stays open. Now, this is something that you'll really have to sort of experience in order to understand, but the issue with cooking is that when you're putting the ingredients in, like you're shoveling them in, and let's say you're doing 20 or something like that, you shovel in 20, and then they finish, and you take them all out, and you do stuff, and then you go back and you want to put in 20 more, all of the containers will have to be reopened, and it just gets really annoying.
And that's where I have the next tip and trick. I'm going to fill this with random things.
Sure.
I cannot put that in unless I close it up. So, if you're worried about wanting to open, like, that everything seems to close on you, what you can do is, after you open up, see how all the containers are basically closed. If you right-click up here at the name, you'll notice that one of the options is to expand all. What does that do? It opens up everything.
It's the greatest tip ever.
Oh, you're just blanking out there.
I said it's the greatest tip ever.
Is the greatest tip ever as Adam starts sounding like a robot. Now, yeah, that is crazy, especially if you're going to fill like a ton. Let's put this cauldron in. We haven't even talked about this cauldron here. Let's put this cauldron into the oven.
Good luck.
How is it not fitting in there? There's only like it's not even 30 items in there.
Yeah, ovens. This is one of the major downfalls. I mean, once you get to the point where your skill is high enough, like 20 or 30, you will never need an oven anymore. You're going to be wanting to raise that difficulty anyway, so you may as well use a forge. A forge will hold a ton of stuff. You should be able to get 100 frying pans in there.
So that's why you take a forge, because you can raise the difficulty level of the meals and everything that you're making up, and it can... Why doesn't the oven hold anything?
I'm not even sure if an oven will fit a cauldron. Try fitting it into that empty oven over there. Will it fit in there?
No.
Yeah, what the?
Where do you put a cauldron?
Like
Why do
a
we have
cauldron
these
is supposed to
things?
be something for cooking, and it won't even fit in the oven.
But it does fit in this forge.
Yeah, it'll fit in the forge, and you can probably fit a few cauldrons in the ovens. Now,
In the forge.
why don't we show the cooling
Oh,
trick?
yeah. The cooling trick? Okay. Yes, this is a great trick. Maybe you can explain it while I do it.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, you just finished cooking,
Uh-huh.
and the stew / meal / whatever it is...
I'm going to say this
is-
meal since that's pretty much what I have here.
Yeah, it's too hot to eat, okay? And you're waiting, like hours and hours later. Well, during that time that you're waiting, go build yourself another forge. Make sure it's a forge this time. This forge is just for cooling, or storage, or whatever. And you put a cauldron or backpack. Backpack is good because you start
In this
with
case,
one.
we've got a whole bunch of different things, but we don't have a backpack. But
I'll drop in a backpack. Yeah, there we go.
oh,
Right, look, 2 cauldrons, a backpack, and a whole bunch of stuff can fit in the forge. Forges are awesome. Okay,
don't
so
throw anything made out of from cloth tailoring and or wood. It will burn.
I've had
Just a warning.
I sold a grooming brush to somebody, high enchant on it, and he stored it in his forge.
What do you think is gonna happen? It's made out of wood.
I gave him another one for that.
Oh, you're just too nice.
Yeah.
So let's go back to this whole thing that everyone wants to know. What is the cooling technique? How do I not wait an hour for this meal to cool down, but still be able to eat it like right away?
Just put it in a container that is in a forge.
Any container.
Backpacks, cauldrons, anything that it'll
Alright,
fit
I'm gonna
in.
do a backpack just because that's probably what somebody will have.
And what I'll do is I'll just sit
Alright.
there, like I'll open it up and I'll sit there.
Oh, it's
until
already hot.
and then I would grab it. I have a
I'm already
keybind
eating
for
it.
pick up, so I'll just hold my mouse over it.
I
and I'll
have
press
one
the
too,
keybind.
but I did not use it. Anyway,
you dragged it.
yeah.
We're getting a lot of flack on the comments about us not using keybinds for some reason. Like, why aren't you using keybinds? Don't you know about keybinds? It's like, yes, our entire keyboard is filled with keybinds. We know how to use them. But in general, what we do, we do this because we want our viewers to see what we're actually doing. So when we drag it out, we're not just holding our mouse button over there, press the keybind, and nobody knows where the thing went.
But thank you for the comments. So I'm going to show with this filet cooked meat that it is currently hot. If I put it in the backpack, let's see how long it takes. Already very warm. Already
Yeah.
done. You are a genius.
In seconds. Now this is great for other things, like for example, you just finished melting all of that ore down into lumps, and now you want to take it and put it into the bulk storage bin, but wait a minute, it's too hot.
And it's going to take
So-
hours for it to not be hot.
Hours. Yep. So you just put them into backpacks or cauldrons. Actually, cauldrons can fit 100
Wow.
lumps, which is better than backpacks. But cauldrons aren't as good for other things. So there's like a. Sometimes it's good to have some cauldrons. Sometimes it's good to have some backpacks.
Just have enough of both around. This is a great little trick, and I hope it sticks around forever because I don't know, it's like part of the game at this point.
So there's another one that you'll use it for a lot, and that's just cooked meat, right? Because cooked meat is the only thing that'll go into a food storage bin. But in order to get it cooked, you have to heat it up, and then you want to put it in the food storage bin. You just do this, and it cools it down.
That's true. That's true. So, what else? What else kind of tricks can you show me?
There's tons of them. I don't even know if we'll have time for it all, but
Yeah, let's throw a couple more out there. We got
okay.
time.
So let's see. Casseroles are good for nutrition at low levels. They're not great, but they're better than stew, and the ingredients are pretty easy to get. And also, better yet, they cook in pottery bowls.
Ah.
So you can, with a hot casserole that's 10 quality or somewhere in there, you can get your nutrition to the high 50s.
And that's got to be better than eating a 1 quality meal.
Oh yeah. And your
I learned
meals
that.
your meals will always come out low quality at that level. Like if you're too low.
Yeah, I was a little ambitious. I just kept creating meals, like wasting ingredients. They all came out at 1 quality at that time, and I was just like, this was last year. This was maybe last February.
They changed it so that the meals come out like they're a little lower than your skill, but they're just no good. Like, yeah, no good. Stick with casseroles. You can get good casseroles, and your skill will go up nicely with them, and they'll keep your nutrition up. So that's a good tip for newbies.
Yeah, and there's some really nice guides just in case that you want to read any of this stuff on. Just go to the wiki. There's actually cooking guides there that can tell you what levels should you start. I've never done it. I read the guides, but I haven't actually really cooked or gotten into cooking at all.
Yeah.
So next tip.
You got one? Or you want me to say one?
Yeah, I don't have any.
I got like tons. So we did a newbies tips and tricks episode a while back, and in that we talked about fish stew as being a really good thing to do because you can keep its quality up, and you can go watch that video to see what I'm talking about. But the tip and trick that I want to talk about right now is that when you're starting out, and if you don't have a Spirit Templar, which, trust me, I don't hold it against you if you don't, because I kind of... Anyway, meat is really hard to find, and so you should fish. Fishing will give you a good source of meat. The only problem with it is that there's no way to get fish meat into a food storage bin because
they will decay really fast, fish.
They'll decay relatively fast. Keep them in a barrel with water and they'll last about a week. And they'll get some decay ticks on them, but the moment you put them into a meal or something, or the moment you put them into a casserole, the damage will reset. So you got a little bit of time on them. So that's another one.
Oh, I just thought of one, and I know this because you told me. We all know that food decays really fast. Now, you can't stick any kind of finished product like a stew or a meal or a casserole inside of a food storage bin, and therefore we have there's not that many ways to keep meals around at all, right? They'll just decay. You keep them in your inventory, they're going to decay. They're going to go bad really fast, and we're talking days here. Don't expect you to make this big 20 meals and expect you to not have to cook for a month. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Food is going to decay, but we did a lot of testing when we first started playing, and we read a lot of things, and people saying put them in barrels or put them here and there. Nothing was as good as just keeping them inside of the place that you cook them. So at the time we were cooking them in ovens. Now you're cooking them in forges. If you just leave them in there and you have no better way of doing it other than I've got to bring it up, if you have the cash, get a magic chest, because that will stop the decay of it. But barring having 25-50 silver just for a freaking chest, just leave them in the forge or leave them in the oven and they will decay. They seem to decay the slowest there.
Yeah,
right?
That's for sure.
I think that's what we basically came down to. Don't move them. Go back there, turn on the oven, turn on the forge, get them hot, and then eat it, and then walk away.
Yeah. The thing that I think that caused the decay to happen really fast is the moment it's in your inventory, the decay happens super fast. And so if you do take it out of the pottery bowl and put it into a cauldron that's in an unlit forge to cool it down, leave it there. And then when you want to heat it up, take a kindling, turn on the forge, and it only use the kindling, and then it'll burn out after 10 minutes or something. So it'll get it hot enough for you to eat.
That's pretty good. So I'm all out. Do you have any more?
Oh yeah, I got tons. So Yeah, when you're skilling up, like let's say your goal is mind logic, for example, or soul depth, because I know that it's the goal of many, and if you do
Why
this,
is
you're
that the
really
goal
going to
for
be shooting
many?
for like.
We'll find out
Sorry?
another episode. Why is that the goal for many people? We'll find that
Yeah,
out
yeah.
in another episode. Okay, keep going.
Anyway, if you're going to do that, then really what you're looking at, this is kind of advanced. What you'll be doing is getting a ton of frying pans, and by a ton, I'm talking about potentially even up to 1,000.
Wait, you just say 1,000?
Yeah, like 1,000 frying pans. This is for like this is extreme. Like
Yeah,
the,
a
the,
little extreme. A
it's a
thousand. You
little
just
extreme,
said a
but
thousand.
like there's quite a few people out there who are that extreme, and really, I mean, they're shooting for mind logic or soul depth, and as a consequence, they're also going to get like really close to 100 hot food cooking, which is a bonus. Um, Now, I'm going to talk about that in a whole other episode as well, but that is a good surefire way of increasing your hot food cooking. I mean, you don't need to go all the way to the 1,000, but get one forge that is only for cooking. Put 100 frying pans in there, load them up. Meat. Veggie, and take a kindling. Get ready with sleep bonus. Turn your sleep bonus on, light the forge, and wait for it all to cook. And 5 minutes later, before the 5 minutes is up that you have to wait for sleep bonus to turn off, the meals will all cook. And every one of those meals counts as an action. And in 5 minutes, you'll get all those skill ticks. So,
What's
I mean,
stopping somebody else from lighting that forge?
well, what's great about cooking is that it's whoever loads the pans will get the skill. Doesn't matter who lights the forge. So the actions are loading the pans. That's who's going to get the skill. Now, this also allows for other things like you can hire somebody to load your pans for you. It's actually not loading the pans. It's actually the person who puts the food into the forge. So if somebody loads pans for you, which sometimes you hire somebody to do that, all you need to do is take the pans out, put them back in, and now you're the person who's going to receive that skill.
Ooh, so you could pay your peasants to
Your
load.
Come here,
your-
peasants.
I'm sorry, that's the wrong word.
Slaves?
Slave cook people, pan fillers.
Pan
Let's use
fillers,
that.
yeah.
You can hire pan fillers to
That's right.
gain you skill
Yep.
if you
Pan
really want to.
filling
If you're
is an
like
art
the
form.
high mighty like king, you're not going to be the one that wants to load those pans in there, or you're not going to be the ones to get the meals prepared. You just want to go in there and shove those in the oven, and then you get all the skill.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's interesting. I did not know that. I think that's it, right? That's it.
I bet you I can go on and on, but really, like, the real thing is go and experiment.
All right.
Again, like, we haven't even shown all of the containers that you can cook in, so go read up on some guides and look at some stuff.
Well, here, I'm
Experiment
gonna
with different
create-
ingredients.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, experiment with different ingredients and fillet your meat and do all that stuff. Get a nice farm going for yourself where you're cooking your vegetables. The moment you get to about 12 or 14 skill, switch to meals. Those will give you good skill ups, and yeah, just go at it. It's so beneficial to have hot food cooking. Even get it into the 40s before deciding to stop. Doesn't take that long. It's a good thing to have.
Quickly, talk about bread.
Oh yeah, bread. We forgot about bread. And pumpkins actually do the same thing. Bread and pumpkins increase the weight of your meal without, increasing the difficulty too much. Bread is its own genre of cooking. It requires you to harvest grains using a scythe and then taking those grains and grinding them down with a grindstone, which is its own skill, like grinding the.
Whoops.
Then you gotta make dough, and then you gotta cook the dough, and bread making skill. You get bread making skill there. Then you can use the bread, mix it with a meat in a frying pan, and you'll get a meal out of that. But because bread is so hardy, like it's so weighty, the meal is going to be like you can take a tiny, tiny, tiny little fillet, a big loaf of bread, put it together, and you get a big meal out of that. So it's good for newbies.
A lot more work, but yeah, that's it's this entire bread making segment that not many people do.
Cheese is another one that does that.
Oh yeah, cheese. You want to get into cheese? Get some cows.
Yeah, you get your milking skill out with a bucket and churn it into cheese. I'm
your cheese drill. Here. Yeah,
seriously,
we're not joking.
Yeah.
So, anyway, there's a lot of stuff that we're probably missing. If
tons.
You have any tips and tricks about cooking, post it in the comment section, and we will try to mention it in the next episode. And I think with that, I am going to start to fill these pans up.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're doing this, let's go to our final segment, our question and answer segment that we seem to have every week. Every single week, people send in our questions, and then we answer them. It's that simple. And you can send us questions at any of our places, like, I don't know, YouTube. We've got on our YouTube channel. You can send us questions at serversaredown.com. That's probably the best place to send us questions, as that is where we're actually going to be looking all the time. And they give us a big list of everybody that sent us questions there. Any comment on any of our videos. What else? Twitter, Facebook. You can send us messages there or comments there, and we will get them.
Mm-hmm.
So every single week, Adam rounds up the best of the best. And if we missed any of yours, first, blame that on Adam. Second, tell us, send us again. If you really want the question answered, send us the question again.
Yep,
Adam puts these in a specific order, and I'm hoping that they're in some kind of order. This is the first time that I'm going to be reading them out loud right now to you guys, so I will be as shocked as you if these questions are...
Some of them are actually a little bit humorous, I'd have to say.
Well, let's find out. Minecraft 17 player said on our episode 1 episode, wow, that's a long time ago. I watched this video, and I see you guys are newbies in the forest. I feel like this is how he's talking as he's typing.
Yeah.
Newbies in the forest.
I'm
sorry. So some videos later, which are made about 3 months later, you own an entire deed with a colossus and everything. Well, I'm gonna try to.
And then he does the little emote with the eyebrow raised.
So what? First, I think most people know. If not, yes. When we did episode 1, we did actually start new characters, and we kind of tried to play into the fact that, people, we noticed that nobody seemed to really think that they could find a place. That's a common argument. I mean, just a general argument that no one seems to know how to find a place to settle down. So we jumped on some new characters that just left the tutorials, and we left. And yes, if you actually go watch the episode, those character names are not the same as our character names now. They're very slight differences. We were hoping no one caught it. No one did.
You know what? I'll be honest. I'm pretty certain that most people realize.
I don't think anyone cares. But
and in the second episode, we did actually say it. So if you were sort of paying attention, you sort of.
Yeah, we weren't newbies then. But at the same time, I have to address this because this really bugged me. Because it seems like Minecraft 17 player, it seems like it was just unfathomable that somebody could in 3 months start a deed, build it up, and build a Colossus. And even though we didn't do it, what you saw was not us doing that. When we first started the game back in February of 2012, we started our first deed, puzzles, built it up, built a Colossus, built a labyrinth, and released the labyrinth and everything by May. So let's see that. February, March, April, May. 3 months. It took us 3 months to do that. Mm-hmm. And there was 3 of us. So yes, there was 3 of us, but
it's doable.
It's doable.
We're trying to say. like you can get a massive
You basically explained what we did when we first started the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even though what you were referring to wasn't what we did. But I just thought that was funny. That's all.
Yeah. In 3 months, you can accomplish quite a lot in 3 months in this game. Even though everything seems to be going relatively slowly, if you're enjoying the game, trust me, you can get pretty far.
One tip that seems like I know a lot of people look at to see if they miss putting in like a vegetable or something in these frying pans. I don't even look. I do this because of carpentry, because of other things, support beams and stuff that I make. I look at the weight. So as I can see, some of these frying pans weigh 2.9, some of these weigh 2.8. So all the ones that weigh 2.8, I just keep sticking them in.
Yeah.
Until they're all done. Okay, now I'm doing pumpkins. As you can see, that raises like a crazy amount. Yeah. Whoa, technical difficulties there a little bit, but we're going to do the next question. I think jump right into the next question. Fusham on the unofficial. I said that name wrong, didn't I? Fusham. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. On the unofficial trailer video, he made a comment saying, "Hi there, you two. Hello. Think what you do is great, and I think new and old players can use your videos. Thank you very much, Fusham. What kind of recorder program do you use? Greetings, Fusham, fan from Denmark. Awesome. Recording program that I use. There's a lot of different programs that can be used that are probably better, but what I ended up doing because of the setup that I have here, because of these videos that we make, I just recorded everything in XSplit, which is really a broadcasting software, live streaming broadcasting software. So if anyone wants to check it out, go look up XSplit. It does cost money, but it is worth it if you do something like what we're doing right now. So yeah, that's what I ended up using. Probably wasn't the best idea, but it was convenient. Next question. Logtar from our farming episode, which was our last episode. He's saying, thank you for asking my last question. You're welcome.
I don't even remember what question he asked.
That's okay. I have another question. Many times you've been asked about other games you've played, but I don't recall anyone asking you about EVE Online. These two games, EVE and Wurm Online, are somewhat similar. I'm not sure how to explain that, but there's just something that gathers the same type of players. I noticed that many Wurm players are either former or current EVE players too, which confirms my theory. So, did you ever try EVE Online? Adam?
No. Although I have heard of this, and I've heard of EVE Online even before we started Wurm, but I never tried it. Something about the full-on PvP, so even like Wurm it gives us the option of playing on the freedom servers, and we don't really want to touch the PvP. And again, it's because something about the full-on PvP aspect is just a little bit of a turn-off for me.
I mean, I'd say that I wish I tried it. Some of it seems appealing to me. I like the big universe. I like the big battles that could potentially happen. Thousands of players, like in big ship battles. I like the risk versus reward type style. The one thing that I don't like about it, and it's something that's very tiny, and it's probably just because of the years and years, like the decade of us playing MMOs, you don't control an avatar.
Mm.
And that, for some reason, bothered me. You control a ship. The ship is your avatar, and even though at the beginning, and I hear that they have character creator, like I followed the game, and it does look interesting, and I can see the similarities, definitely, between that game and a game like this. And it's not, of course, like graphical similarities or anything like that. There's a lot of gameplay similarities. You don't have you don't have an avatar. You can't exit your ship or go around.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason that bothers me a little bit. It shouldn't. And I'm sure that I probably could get into a game like that. I just haven't. The space thing, just being in space all the time. Oh.
And we're playing Wurm, so...
Yeah. Why do we need that game? But yeah, a lot of people, I'm sure, love that game as well. Next question. From our episode 2, Search for the Iron Vein. A name that I cannot pronounce at all. Sorry.
I'll try it.
Beast.
Beast mode.
Beast mode. I'm sorry. It's just because they're alternating capital letters and adding in number signs. And, so sorry. Beast mode. When should you mine straight versus down? So I think this is relating to the fact that we were mining in that episode. So you're the miner. When should you mine straight versus mining down?
Well, you'll mine straight when you want to go straight.
So like the next tile will look straight.
Yeah. Like in terms by straight level. We mean like the floor is flat and the ceiling is flat, like horizontal. You mine down when you want to go deeper, and you mine up when you want to rise. So it'll pretty much slope the next tile the way that you want. My recommendation, to be honest, is if you want to mine down, and I know we didn't do this in the video just because of time constraints, but if you really want to make a mine right, then mine straight, and then mine the floor down to the right slope, because then that way you can control how sloped you get it.
I see, yeah. And something I can add is that the only thing stopping you, like the only restrictions you have for mining up or mining down, is eventually if you keep mining down, you'll hit water. Mm-hmm. And if you keep mining up, you'll hit the rock surface, and it'll tell you that you can't mine any more up. So that's really the only limitations. Like, other than that, you can mine up and down as much as you want anywhere.
The other issue of if you're mining up and you are approaching a rock surface, like no dirt is on it, it will literally open a tunnel outwards. And we've done that a couple times and regretted it
so many times. Yeah, that's when you call your friendly neighborhood mag priest.
Mag priest, yeah.
Next question from... Wow, what's these names, guys?
I know, seriously. Excelsior.
Yeah,
it's a funny spelling of Excelsior.
Oh, okay, Excelsior. On our episode 10, Optimize Your Skill Gain episode, he says, "Hey, chaps." Hey, chaps.
Nice.
I'm sorry. This vid was very helpful for my mining skill. Well, that's great. That's almost exactly what you wanted it to be. However, I seem to be getting a lot of quality 1 shards. I'm using a pick that's 12 quality, and I'm mining stone, and I have mining level of 13. Any ideas how to minimize that 1 quality shard, or am I stuck with them? So this is a perfect that's a perfect question that Adam would be very happy to answer for you. Go ahead.
Yes, definitely. Is that because you don't know?
I have no idea. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so there's, on the one hand, you are going to get 1 quality shards, like potentially up to 40% of your shards might be 1 quality, and that is normal, especially at that mining skill. Until your mining skill rises, that's when you start getting less. But one thing that you can try to help balance it a little bit, if you're finding that you have more than 40% 1 quality shards, is to increase the quality of your pickaxe. like there is going to be a balance that you have to strike, because on the one hand you're going to get a lot of 1 quality shards, on the other hand you're going to get a lot of max quality shards, right? And so there's, you got to imp that pickaxe so that you get sort of a balance of each. You'll never be getting good skill and completely eliminating those 1 quality shards. They're just gonna be there. So
okay, quickly, if you had that level and you had that pickaxe, what would you imp it to?
I would have to experiment. I would probably try imping it just a little bit, maybe to the high teens, maybe right up to 20, and then try again, see what it looks like. Maybe at that point it needs a little bit more imping. Maybe I went too high, and then just mine and repair, and it'll lower that quality.
And I would imp it to 25, but I don't know anything of what I'm talking about. So
yeah,
next,
I don't think there's really any wrong answer at that point. 25 is probably going to be too first.
Actually, I wouldn't do that. I would just give it to you, and then you'd give it back to me at a different level. Next question, James Parker. On episode...
There's a good name, James Parker.
James Parker on episode 4, Terraforming, asked, how much digging do you need to dig all the way to the rock? I assume he means... Oh, yeah. How much digging skill do you need to dig all the way to the rock? Is that even possible? No, wait. He says, if that's even possible. Oh, sorry. No. So yeah, how? First, I will answer that because I'm more of the digger of the group.
Yep, you are the digger.
First, yes, it is possible. You can dig all the way to the rock. That is a given. That's what you're supposed to do. But the thing is that there's an infinite amount of dirt that could be on top of that rock, depending on where you live. So at some point, you could dig down 5 times and you could hit the rock. Or at other places, you could dig down 80 times and not be at the rock.
So you don't mean infinite, you mean finite.
Sure, a finite amount of time, says the math guy. Yeah, it's not an infinite amount. You're right.
It's not infinite.
Yeah. There's a finite amount of digging that you can do. It's not the same everywhere. The rock.
It's variable.
The rock is sloping just like the dirt. Like the big mountains, you'll see rock exposed already. And then you'll see a bit of dirt on it. If you dug that dirt on top of the mountain, there probably wouldn't be that much dirt there. And you would hit the rock. Now, this is going to be hard to explain, but each rock tile has 4 points. And we explained this in the terraforming episode about the points. And that you have to dig down each of those points. If you have one rock tile, you have to dig down every single one of those points around it. They have 4 points in order to expose that one tile of rock. Because you can hit the rock on just 1 point, but it won't expose a rock tile. With that, you don't need a certain amount of skill to dig down to the rock, depending on how sloped the dirt is. Because, your dirt or your digging skill is only 3 times. You can only dig up to 3 times your digging skill.
No.
You can only dig the slope up to 3 times.
If I can jump in here, you can be level 1 and get to the bottom. By the time you get to the bottom, you'll be skilled up. But what I think Brian's trying to say is, if you dig and you're digging and it's sloping downwards, you'll only get to a certain slope for your skill. So your skill is 3. You can only dig to a slope of 9, so 3 times your skill. So then you'd have to sort of spread it out and make that slope wider.
But digging skill goes really fast. I don't think anyone that I know had any problem.
If you start on a flat piece of ground,
raising their digging.
Yeah, if you start on a flat piece of ground, you won't have a problem. By the time that you get to the rock, your skill will be high enough to get to the rock.
I think it was our first skill to 20. It's really fast.
Yeah, that's right.
Next question, Skyrim Tube on episode 1 again asks, bear my English and stupidity in online gaming. Never played one before. Wow, you never played an online game. That is something.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, if I, for one, if I, for some strange reason, want to take the main essence, which to him is the social interaction of the game, away from this game, is it possible for me to play alone or with my friend, for example? So I think more what that means, there's two sides of what you can mean, Skyrim Tube. You could, if you mean, can you just go off with your friend and not play with anybody else in this game? You can do that online, but what you can't do is take the game offline and play only locally with your friend. There's no offline version or a single player type version. Like the old school multiplayer Battle.net edition, like my Wurm Online. There's nothing like that. Contact the guy through LAN, find out his IP address. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
You're going to have to play online, but doesn't mean you have to play with people. So if you want to just play with a friend, that's what you do. That's what we did. We came online and we just wanted to start a village together, and that's what we did. And I keep getting messages.
This game is getting a little bit... I mean, it's not that hard to find a place of your own, but you'll probably see people in your local. They might wave to you. You may have to, you may feel obligated to respond to them, but it's not so overly populated that your local is going to be filled with people.
I've seen both sides where people have said that they've never seen anybody. They played forever and they haven't seen anybody, and it's just such a lonely game. And that's never been our experience.
Not true anymore. Yeah,
it's never been our experience. If that happened, then yeah. I mean, at the start, it's hard to get anywhere, and therefore the only other people around you are the new players that are crowding around the starting area. And a lot of those new players end up just staying near the starting area or starting a village as close to the starting area as possible because they can't get very far as a new player. A lot of players are scared to run around. And we kind of just like hightailed and ran to the freaking coast right at the beginning. And if you're that, it depends on what kind of player you are, really, on what you're going to do. And both styles are fine. Both styles have their own unique flavor to them.
Yeah, people like the hermit style. Just go off and be on your own. It's a tough road.
It's probably the toughest one.
Don't expect to get really high skills really fast or to progress very fast. It'll be a slow, but I mean, some people enjoy that.
But have fun. Yeah. All right, we're getting through these questions. Next question is from Raven Panic 72 on our episode 7 Newbies Tips and Tricks. I was wondering if I can play the game if I make a home.
Can other players
destroy it and kill me if I am in it? Or is there a safe zone? Or is it a safe zone?
Or
is the house a safe zone? And last...
Man, you must be getting tired.
Yes I am. And last, can I teleport to my home, or will I have to make the journey?
Well, to your credit, this guy has extremely terrible spelling and grammar.
That's okay. I'm not judging you.
Yeah, no.
So first off, this two-part question, you have to make the journey. There is no teleport here. There is a way to teleport, but it's very expensive, and I do not recommend it. No one really does.
High end in the game, yeah.
Yeah, it's if you have like money to burn. But overall, no, there's no way to teleport. You have to make the journey. That's your house.
There is the suicide if you are at your home.
Yeah.
Or sorry, if you're bound at your home and you run away and you suicide, you can get back. But
only if you have a deed, and don't do that. No. Only if you first started, maybe.
Yeah.
But what was the first question? Can another player come and destroy your house and you?
Depends.
Yeah. Not on the Freedom servers. Not on... I have never tried it on the Epic or Chaos servers. Can you kill somebody's house? Maybe somebody that plays that?
I'm pretty sure you can. And Chaos just opened up to make it so that you can. So yeah, if you join a free PvP server, then...
You have both options, so yes and no.
Yes and no.
Depending on which cluster you decide to join. He has another 2 questions. All right, let's get through them. I can't get the game to run. It gives him an error code. If you can help me, I will tell you what it tells me. We get this question quite a lot, I feel. The first thing that you should do is head over to the official Wurm Online forums. You can get to there from wurmonline.com. Since you're trying to download the game, I assume you know that address. I would go there, go to the forums. There's an entire technical support section. I would write out everything, all your problem.
The error code.
The error code, anything. Everything. They will explain to you, if you don't know already how to find your log file that has all the problems that happen. It logs everything. And they'll tell you how to post that, and they will solve the problem for you. They're really good at that. So I would do that. We're not.
And we are not
good
at that.
We're not technical support people for the game, and we're not technical support people
in general. Yeah.
We'd be telling you to have you reset your computer? Yeah. Next, the Dead Wookie 25 says episode 7, newbie tips and tricks again. Show us all the different chat options. That's not a question. What? So you added this question. Okay, show us all the chat options. We haven't really gone into the chat options because they kind of just pop out at you when you're there. Most of them do anyway. So I can explain some of them very quickly. Pause the video if I'm going too fast. I actually have not my entire chat bar here. There it is. So all the different chat options. This is, of course, where you chat. This side is where the event window is. I don't think we've really explained this because I'm not really trying to do like a all big tutorial. So chat options. Local is all the people that are around 80 tiles around you. If they're not 80 tiles around you, they do not show up in your local. They will not hear you. Second one is alliance chat. That's anyone in your line. We haven't explained what an alliance is, but it's basically when numerous different deeds, villages, decide to join in one big alliance. So anyone that's done that will get an alliance chat, and you'll be able to chat with all your different villages that are in your alliance. The next one is CA help. That's where you ask all the community assistance questions, and yeah,
they're volunteers.
They're all volunteers, so don't be mad if no one's in there or anything. Like, no one's getting paid. We're all helping each other.
Yeah.
Next one is GL Freedom. That's on any of the Freedom servers, not including the new Freedom servers.
No,
is it including the new Freedom servers?
Yeah.
So even including the new Freedom servers, you can chat with any of the Freedom clusters.
Yeah, everybody.
Freedom, which is not here up on my screen, is anybody just on your island. So we're on Deliverance server. Everyone on the Deliverance server will be able to chat through Freedom. No one else will.
It used to be that you could only chat with people on your own server, and they opened it up to all the servers. I think that's changed the game dynamic a little bit.
You more than me. I don't really read it.
Yeah. I liked it the way it was before, but that's just my own opinion.
Yeah, write a blog about it. Next one is Village. Village is if you have a deed, then anyone that's in your village will pop up in the Village tab. And the ones that are not here, if you were to send someone a PM or a tell, I mean, I can do that right now with Adam. All you do is /tell, and you type in the person's name. Hello, Griffith. How are you doing today? And then you press enter, and it'll pop up a new tab right there. Flash at me too. And you'll see my message, and he'll be able to respond to it. And this is just our own private message. It's just like any other MMO if you played one. Works exactly the same way. You can only send a message to the people that are on your server or on your island. Why, hello, Farron. You're gonna have to do this voice. do your in-game voice.
Why, hello, Farron. I am doing very well, thank you.
And that's how he talks in the game.
Yeah.
There are a few other options too, not including chat options. There used to be a voice chat in the game, so if you where people can actually hear you talk.
If you're close to
if
them,
you're close
too,
to them, yeah, it's like
the farther you get away, the like
has a proximity effect. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if they still have that in the game or if they're planning on removing it or something. I heard something.
They're experimenting with it. It seems like
I don't know exactly. It never fully worked entirely. We played around with it a little bit.
Yeah.
We ended up just using like Mumble or something anyway.
We like the idea of it. I mean,
I do like the idea of it.
I mean,
it's a
great.
very
You're
good
just
role
walking
playing.
around. Yeah. Walking around, see some guy, and you just start chatting with him.
Yeah. I hope they do end up having time to fix that up and making it an actual part of the game. Be cool if you could like do voices and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that's perfect for role playing people too. Now that we got animations and stuff like that. Okay, we're chatting up the storm here. A couple other things. IRC is actually built right into the game. If you want to join that, all you have to do is press F1 in the console and type in IRC. That's it. You can't actually see it because I've got my face covering. There we go. All you have to do is type in IRC, and what happens is an entire IRC console chat window opens up right here underneath everything else. And if you've ever been in IRC, you're able, like, you have all those commands as well. So you can join any server. So I can join, like, you know, Griffith Sucks. There, and I just joined a channel called Griffith Sucks. And now I can go around and tell all my friends, go join IRC and join Griffith Sucks. And we can talk about how sucky he is. So, and all you have to do to join, you have to be in one of these tabs on the bottom here and just type /join and then one of these, what is this, a number sign, and just type in a name. That's how you join a channel or create one.
It's a hashtag.
Hashtag, there you go. So anyway, I think that's it for chat.
Yeah. There's probably others, but you might not have even been meaning that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter too much. I'm sure I'm sure everyone knows what these chat options are.
You'll get the hang of it.
Next. Oh, it's the same guy, the Dead Wookiee 25, also mentioned in episode 1. You guys are very easy to listen to. You should do a radio show or something. Funny you should mention that.
Mm-hmm.
We did do a radio show before. A long time ago. About 5 years ago.
It was called Saturday Night Factional Fight.
And we did a bunch of episodes, and then we stopped. It might be somewhere still online. I'm not going to say where. But if you search hard enough, I'm sure people can find it and listen to us 5 years ago on our opinions about MMOs. That's where we got the name. It was our Saturday night show. I know people mention that sometimes these episodes don't release on Saturday night. And true, we just wait until Saturday to release them because we want to be awake and around. It's like the time that we have to release them. But really the essence isn't the fact that it's Saturday night, but here in Canada, which is where we live. I don't even know if we said that before. Here in the great Canada, we Saturday night is actually something that's kind of special here.
Yeah.
Because it signifies that it's hockey night. That's
right.
where we got it from. Basically, it's the night. It's basically saying that that's the night where we get together and we basically battled it out in those radio show episodes and talked about all these different opinions. At that point,
you have to remember, at that point we were very different in terms of how we played video games. And
you guys see us now and that we're playing and releasing these videos. Back then,
we're actually nice to each other now.
We didn't play the same game for years at that point. and we had such differing opinions, and we were trying to find out why. And that was the essence of that show. It lasted a very short amount of time.
Yeah, we only got through a few episodes.
And it's basically because it took us forever. It took us forever to edit it. It took us forever. It took me forever to edit it.
Yeah.
I remember staying up for like 7 hours just editing one of those episodes. And that was the problem. That's basically what happened with that show. I overproduced it.
Yeah.
But not this time.
Yeah, no. What you see is what you get.
That's right. Anyway, it's nighttime. Our oven's done. We're done with the questions. I think that's it for the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you everyone for watching. Please don't forget to go to serversaredown.com if you want your question to be answered. Some things we know a lot about, other things we don't, but we'll try to get to your question every single week. So until then, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.